Okay. Um, so Tuskegee University, which is a HBCU, they released new regulations, new rules for their dress policy, among some other things. But the dress policy is what has caused social media to kind of go into a frenzy. And just to read you here, it says Alabama HBCU's dress code prohibits students from wearing revealing clothing in classrooms, dining areas, and official university settings, including convocation. Bedroom shoes, bonnets, and durags will also be prohibited in classrooms and the university cafeteria. Students attending business meetings and other professional events will be expected to wear business suits and appropriate shoes. Brown said the changes are not intended to prevent students from enjoying their college experience. Instead, he presented the policies as part of Tuskegee's responsibility to prepare its students for professional environments after graduation. Now, this came out, it hit the social media streets. It has led to many conversations happening right now about respectability politics, whether this is necessary. Some people making the argument that, hey, students at white universities get up and go to class in their pajamas all the time. You don't want to be late, you just go to class, right? By focusing on the bonnet and the durags, this is just anti-black. And I'm here to let you know, I'm not sure this policy is really about what Mr. Brown here is saying that it's for, right? Which is preparing students for professional environments after graduation. Now, I'm not saying he's lying because, of course, as a college and university, that's kind of the goal, right? The more of your students do well in corporate life after they graduate, you increase the likelihood that you get more alumni willing to give back to the university to help your institution. So he's not totally lying, but I don't think that this is this is the biggest reason for the implementation of these new policies. What this is about is there was some ratchet shit happening at this university. I'm gonna just be honest with you, right? What people don't know is before you can enforce something, you kind of have to have a policy on it. And you would be shocked at the things that you never thought you would have needed a policy for. And so you can't really do anything about a behavior because technically speaking, you never said that this behavior or this action was inappropriate, right? I'm gonna give you an example. I used to work at a library at a college, and we used to have this one patron who used to come in, and he used to request books through interlibrary loan. So you go to a library, you want a book, they don't have your book, you put in an interlibrary loan request. The library that you go to, they pay to have books shipped to their library to give to the patron that requested it, right? So that's how it goes. We had this one dude, he used to put in interlibrary loan requests for 20, maybe 25 books at a time. Come to the desk, he used to go through all of the books, pick out 2 that he wanted, and tell us, yeah, you can send the rest of these back. And we realized this is not only messed up, we can't really tell him what he's doing is wrong because we don't have a policy against this because we just never envisioned someone would operate this way in this manner so brazenly and so often. This happened probably twice a month, if I'm being honest. And so we had to change the policy, and we did. We changed our policy, and we made it so that we put a cap on the number of books you could borrow from us. And I think we got down to you could request 10 books at a time, something like that, half whatever the amount was. So we basically invented a policy to control the actions of one person. Now, this is where I'm going with this. It says, the Alabama HBCU's dress code prohibits students from wearing revealing clothing in classrooms, right? Let's stop there. Because I think this is probably what was happening. A couple of y'all was getting up in the morning, running late for class. You might have wiped your ass. Maybe you didn't, whatever. And you would pull up to the class with pajama top, but no bra on. Just nipples poking through the pajama top, right? So when you fellas late for class, was rolling up to class with shorts on or some sweatpants on and no drawers, dick just swinging as you move into your seat, right? Coming to class with rollers in your head, right? And so what they're doing with the bonnets and the durags, they're trying to get to like almost like a what is it called? There's a policing policy. There's like I'm just called broken window policing, which is basically if you kind of police the petty crimes, you automatically get the people that do the real fucked up shit. They're doing like a similar thing where it's like policing by proxy, right? They're not going to tell you, hey, don't show up to class with, you know, pajama pants with no drawers on, or your pajamas and you got no bra on, or a tank top and no bra on, right? And people do this stuff all the time, right? When I go to the grocery store sometimes, which is, I rarely go to the grocery stores around me anymore, but every now and then you might need some eggs or, you know, some milk, and you don't feel like, you know, ordering something from Whole Foods like I do. And you go to the store, the bodega, in my case, this type of shit people will leave their house in. It's shocking to you. All kind of dick and all kind of titties and I mean long hanging titties. Just not things you want to see. And I think that's what was happening at Tuskegee University. And so they're like, no, we have to put a stop to this. It's unfortunate. I'm sure Mr. Brown never thought that he would have to do such a thing, but he didn't have the policies on board to say, hey, don't come to class with your titties out, with your dick swinging. I'm telling you, Mr. Brown never thought he would have had to have a policy like this. Until one day he was walking on campus, going somewhere, right? Probably had some important people with him. And he's looking around at like 9 or 10 in the morning. And he's like, what has happened to my people? Like, when did this happen? Will you just walk out, you know, your dorm room into public with no clothes on pretty much, right? Or bedroom attire on? What are we doing here? And so that's what this is really about. And as far as, you know, the whole respectability thing, listen, I always tell y'all over and over and over again, respectability politics, I get why people think that it's problematic, but guess what? And here's the harsh truth. Most of y'all are not going to work for some black people that understand your hair or the way that you know, want to show your blackness and whatnot. Most of y'all are going to want to work for some white folks or some other people who are not white, but they ain't black. And yeah, they don't want y'all coming up in there with do-rags and bonnets on. I'm just saying. So if your thing is, you know, this is like pushing respectability politics, well, you should get used to the fact that you're not going to be able to wear bonnets and do-rags to work. I don't even think you should be allowed to wear bonnets to school. Now, do-rags is more of a gray area for me because you can make an argument that a do-rag is kind of a fashion item in ways in which you can't say that for a bonnet, right? But yeah, like I have no problem with this, man. Like the respectability thing never really kind of worked for me because for me, I don't view it as, you know, trying to be respectable for somebody. I view it as, hey, I don't want to be around y'all that show up places with y'all titties out and pajama clothes or y'all dicks out with no underwears on. That type of black person, you know, I'm not sure I want to be around that person. So, yeah, get dressed.